Hello, I'm Dean Herridge and welcome to round 2 of the CAMS Australian Rally Championship, the Make Smoking History Forest Rally here in Western Australia, and we're in the main street of Nannup, the host town for us here. A few cars behind us at Flexi Service. End of day here. Got a few teams electing to basically park their cars up, particularly multi-car teams. Park one car up, work on one in the service bay. Plenty of action going on and a great chance for us to walk through and speak to some of the teams, try and avoid being run over by a couple of state cars that come through. So, of course, a round 2 of the West Australian Rally Championship as well. One of the big stories, of course, was last night on the tarmac, winning both stages quite convincingly and doing a great job was Harry Bates and John McCarthy. Had a big off today. I'm interested to have a chat to them. Harry's been a bit elusive this afternoon. I'm going to jump in very quickly, sorry guys, live and chat to John McCarthy. I don't even know where your driver is, mate, but speed was awesome yesterday on the tarmac. Today, fair to say, a bit of a struggle and, of course, an off. Tell us about that.
Yeah, look, we were just sort of trying to see where we wound up this morning. Eli obviously had really good speed, so we decided that we were just going to try and race Glennie for second, and just came unstuck a couple of K into Ellis.
And of course, the boys been working very hard here. Damage mainly said to the left-hand side. Obviously, on the other side there, you said a bit of cosmetic work that the boys have been doing. Talk us through the off and what actually happened in that other stage.
We just came in to a tightening right-hander, a little bit hot, and the back stepped out, hit a tree stump, dragged the nose in, and it sort of pirouetted and just landed in a really awkward spot. So, despite the fact there wasn't really much damage, we just couldn't drive it out from where it was.
So the plan here now, guys, obviously fixing that, getting you back out. Of course, the end of day, still some points on the line for you potentially if you can get back to Bustle tonight and another crack around the tarmac.
Yeah. Well, so we'll be able to get back and be classed as a finisher for today, get a handful of championship points, and start tomorrow's heat tonight back down there at Bustle.
It's important to keep the points up, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's what we're here for.
Yeah. Oh, mate. I like you today. Well done for last night, and get them back on the tarmac this time around, eh?
Thanks, mate. Cheers, Dino.
We're going to wander come through to what's been a very spectacular thing for our series, and of course that is the R5 car, the Skodas you see here. First time we've seen in the Australian Rally Championship R5 cars, WRC2 spec machines here, run by Race Talk. We'll wander through, and our winner here, of course, Eli Evans and Ben Searcy in the MRF Max Skoda. Eli's up there on the truck. We might try and bring him down to have a quick chat. And, of course, fantastic to see these cars, a WRC spec machine in our championship. And, of course, what pace did they have? Adrian Coppin was lined up earlier than most to have a run in one. And, of course, now Eli, the former champ, has come through with the win. An amazing machine, purpose-built, a few dollars. I can see him coming down now. We may try and grab his teammate as well. Eli, mate, we caught you on the hop a little bit there.
It's all right, I was just talking to the boss, Dad, so... Gave him the good news. So yeah,
he'd be pretty happy, wouldn't he?
Online. Yeah, he's stoked. He just said well done, and he said it was worth the exercise so far. And then he was pretty stern on bringing it home tomorrow. All the driving instructions he gave me after that, I stopped listening to him then though.
Of course, the big thing was, it was fairly late news for all of us that your Mini was going to stay back in Melbourne, and you've done a last-minute deal to run this car. So for most people even watching this may not have even been aware. I think some results still showing you're in the Mini, but of course you couldn't get it here in Perth and be confident enough to get a result. So not a bad backup, mate.
Yeah, look, it was high risk taking the Mini because we just made a lot of changes that we need to improve the pace of the car, and to get it finished on time, we were very, very close, but then we were worried about the truck coming across the Nullarbor, and if there was any issues, Dad was just stressing that he might let me down at the event due to the truck failing. So he made the last-minute call. It was Monday afternoon that would lease the Skoda off Race Talk, and so far it's been a pretty wise move.
It has indeed. 8 stage wins on the trot here. Obviously, to me, it feels like a bit of a pivotal moment in the ARC. First time we've seen an R5 or a WRC2 spec car here, and wowee, it's been on fire, really.
Yeah, look, it's World Rally 2 spec car. It's one down from a World Rally car, essentially, and look, they're really easy to drive. You can feel the amount of effort, time and money that's been put into these cars in design and build, and also just the way they handle. This is a car that OC Vibey ran last year, and it's still got the setup that he has in it. So I've been lucky to get that sort of technology, I suppose, for feedback into the car, and it's been a dream result today.
Did you think there's some pretty big gaps out there, to be fair to say? Was you a bit surprised by that or not?
Yeah, no. I just wanted to stay aggressive this morning and try and come out of the blocks quick, and it was pleasing to know that we could do that. And I felt a lot of pressure being in an R5 car because I think I had 200 people tell me that I was going to win, and it's the fastest car by far. So, it's nice to hear that, but you've got to get in the car and you've got to do it. And so that was stressing me out this morning. So I said to Ben, look, we've just got to do our absolute best, keep it as neat as we can and keep the nose pointing straight and stay on the power and stay aggressive, and, it worked for us.
Mate, well done. I thought he'd be a bit more chipper. You won rallies before. This is a monkey off the back for you. Like you say, a lot of pressure. Perfect time. We're going to swing over and say good day to your teammate Adrian, but well done for today. And, of course, the Optus back Skoda. This is the guy we were excited by coming across. He was the first guy to say that, yes, I'm going to be running in an R5 car here in Perth. Come across Adrian, and, of course, a tough morning for him, but I'm sure he'd be pretty happy with this afternoon. I said tough morning, but I'm pretty sure you're happy with the afternoon, mate.
Yeah, I'm still a bit frustrated. I just need to find a bit more, to be honest. Made us some setup changes for the afternoon, but as you can expect, the first couple of stages after the incident this morning, I took it a bit easy, trying to sort of get a feel for it all. But look, it's coming. I certainly haven't adapted to it as quick as this bloke over here, but it's actually really good. We're sort of bouncing a few ideas off Eli, and it's an amazing car, and I can at least say it's a bucket list thing I've ticked off. That's for sure. Yeah.
And that's the tough thing. I mean, like you said, an amazing opportunity to drive an R5 car, and when you've got a multiple ARC champion coming as your teammate straight off, there's a bit of extra pressure. But you're taking it the right way. It is a great benchmark for you, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. He's on a multiple team for no reason, so it's really good from that point of view. But look, the car's great, and there's the more you lean on it, the better it is. It's just trying to get that confidence to lean on it more, and I sort of think I did that, and then found the limit too early.
But tell us, and you sort of have captured on a little bit, what's it like to drive this thing? Because they just look so efficient and awesome. And you and Eli are the first guys to debut one of these cars. And I said to him, it feels like a change of shift in the ARC. And we only see it every decade or so. These are serious machines, aren't they?
They are. They're obviously they're world class. And to be part of that, I guess, history, bringing the first couple to the ARC is very exciting. They just do everything. I don't know. Yeah, they just do everything right. They're very efficient. It's very easy to drive. But to get the most out of them, you have to be super committed. And you can see why with the Skoda, they're so successful around the world because I don't know what it is. It's just that extra 5%, I guess, in little areas over the Peugeot that just makes it such a good car.
Mate, well done. I know you're down on yourself, but Aaron, you will bounce back, and the times are coming, mate. So we'll look forward to a great run tomorrow. So
yeah, hopefully. Cheers, thanks.
Thank you very much to Adrian, of course. Aaron, fantastic job. Although that obviously second dirt stage this morning had an off, ripped a corner out of it, and of course that was their day done. But come through very strong this afternoon. So the Skoda's amazing for our sport. And also a note on that, we've seen the MRF tyre used in the Asia Pacific Championship. First time we've seen an R5 car using an MRF control tyre here in the ARC, and you would say it's a pretty good start for them in that car. So wandering across to our bridesmaid for today, and he won't really like me saying that because Steve Glenning, it's very orange under here, mate, if you want to come out and meet me here. But I said bridesmaid, and you won't like me saying that, but there's been a few seconds coming your way in the last month or so.
Yeah, look, it's better than third, so tricky day, but cool roads, hey.
You haven't had as much experience here as other rounds of the ARC, so we sort of forget that. You don't have as much experience as some of these guys you're coming over. It's almost like a renewed event for you in some ways.
Yeah, absolutely. I did this event, it was my first ever event in your old car back 12 years ago or something. I only got 3 stages in before I crashed, so it's my first time here really driving. Done a bit of co-driving, obviously, with Alan Rowe and Dan Day a few years back, but yeah, very different up the front too. It's just so slip-free. It's crazy, but enjoyable. Found a bit of rhythm this afternoon. We broke a little arm. I jumped the car into a hole and broke an arm, but we fixed that and we're going again, so all good.
So was that a damage that was done? Did you hit a culvert or did you go wide, hit a bank? I mean, obviously these things are pretty tough, and you can see the boys fixing that few arms down here. You've got a broken bit down there on the tarmac on the other side at the end of the mat. So talk us through how you've actually done that, and of course had to limp it home a little bit because of it.
Yeah, it was tricky, but look, it was just like a 7 right over crest with a drop on the other side of it. Got a bit of air, probably more air than I should have, and landed on the edge of the road. Funny enough, Eli was following me through the stage, and he told me exactly where it was. He goes, "Yeah, I was in that hole last last year. So I think it's probably one of those things that when you're pushing and trying to find that rhythm, it happens. But found really good rhythm. I felt really comfortable this afternoon, much happier. And we had to nurse it through that last stage. So that was quite nerve-wracking. We weren't sure we were going to lose minutes or it would stop altogether, but we got there, so all good.
The thing is, to take on now R5 cars, AP4 cars, we're seeing a real sort of separation in the way that our classes are working in this outright sort of series. There's lots of pros and cons. For you, the biggest thing you've got going for you is consistency and potentially the reliability of this car. So important just to keep getting good results, and so far so good.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Eli's obviously driven that car beautifully today, but it certainly is in a different league to what we're running. So we just forget that and try and be the best of the rest of the cars, that are similar to ours. Championship's a long thing. Consistency, you're the king of that. So take a lot of advice from you from that. But
we'll have a chat later, mate. The invoice will be in there. But you just reminded me how old it was. Was it 12 years ago, that other car?
I think so. It was about 05 or something. Yeah. So
moving on now, mate.
Yeah. So look, really enjoy the roads here. It's a great event, great place to have it. So I'm having a ball.
Great to have you back, mate, and good luck tomorrow. So well done to Steve Glennie there, obviously running the Craig Brooks car. I see Craig wandering around here, sort of acting in that team manager role, and it's a tough old gig, I've got to say. Is he actually taking the seat in there? He is too. Look at that. Craig Brooks, everybody. Mate, you're not getting a run tomorrow, mate. You've handed the steering over. He's not giving it back. You can have a crack tomorrow if you like. Awesome that he's backing Steve, and they've got a game plan, and they'll do really, really well in this championship. So they're going to stick to their game plan. Something that the Subaru Do Motorsport team, of course, former champs, are going to wander through, try and find and speak to Molly and potentially to Malcolm here. Tough weekend for them, of course. They've got fourth. It's points in the bank, but I think they struggle with a little bit of pace. I haven't chatted to them yet. We'll jump up the stairs, have a quick chat. Looks like Malcolm's the one we're going to find first, and he's pretty new to the CAMS Australian Rally Championship, so we don't know a lot about this bloke, but look at the mow on him, would you? And we apologise in advance for this, but
I'll apologise for you.
There is a reason. I think you've been a bit sledged on it, but you've got a reason. You're a Kiwi. Tell us about that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, hey, 15 years ago today, well, not today, but this weekend, I should say, unfortunately, the world lost Possum Born. So being a Kiwi in Subaru Australia for the first time since Possum, I thought this would be my little tribute. And plus, I wasn't going to entice Molly to grow a mow for the occasion. So it's our little way of, respecting everything that he did for the sport over here,
Of course, and we're fighting for the Possum Born Memorial Trophy, of course. And you're going into the retro era of Possum when he used to have that mow as well, mate.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Awesome. Look, what do you think of our series so far? This is probably your first time over to Perth, I'm assuming, competing. So tough day for you and Molly, but what you make of it all so far?
Yeah, well, we sort of we're trying to work out. Certainly, I was. The team were asking a few questions, things like brakes and stuff like that. And I'm being my first event. It's still trying to work out: is it just the roads sucking the power out of the car and the braking? The little things like that. So so the boys are just doing a little bit of setup thing regarding the brake master cylinders, try to get a bit of a better pedal for the brake pressure, and hopefully that gives Molly that extra confidence. So it's always a balance with that slippy surface. Is it the car or the slippy surface? So
well, you would have heard about it. I mean, obviously, they talked a lot when we had the WRC over here that we had these ball bearing rows. Are you finding it really unique, different to what you've been used to before?
Oh, for sure. And certainly, as soon as you get offline, like anywhere else in the world, and especially New Zealand, you get offline and you sort of lose a little bit of grip, and you can feel it. But here, it's like night and day. So as soon as you're offline, it's like turn. It's just.
And that's the hard thing when you get a bit of teamwork going. Obviously, Bill and Molly work to great effect. You're new to here. You're not new to the event. It's hard when the guys ask you that because you don't really know where this car should be when you're from that passenger seat. So.
Yeah, so just trying to work out a few little things like that and give them as much feedback as I can. But certainly in terms of myself and Molly in the car, we're loving it. So she's very committed in that fast stuff, I'll tell you that much.
I have heard that before. Super committed driver. We're going to leave it there. We're going to buzz around the back of the car. Well done to Malcolm. They got the fourth place, didn't quite get the podium, and of course it's going to be on for young and old tomorrow. We're going to fling down the front here. If we do get a chance to see Molly, we will. Otherwise we're going to head down onto the grass, the bowling area there. Relax. Probably trying to ignore us a little bit there. I'm sure she'd be a bit more chipper if she'd landed the podium, but Molly, jump up, Molly. We're live here. You can't leave us hanging. I just chatted to your co-driver with his mow and everything else. Mate, tough day probably for you, I'm sure, knowing how competitive you are and what you expect from yourself and the team. It's been a tough one.
Yeah, we're scratching our heads a little bit, to be honest. We had the pace in Ballarat and didn't get to put it together, and here we don't have the pace at all, and I don't really. I mean, we've got a few ideas, but it's obviously frustrating because we feel like we're trying.
It seems a bit, we hear a lot like in track stuff with V8s, where if you don't roll it out and the truck is not quite working and you see a guy who's winning one weekend, struggling the next. Our series is like a mini world championship. What works in Ballarat may not work here, and you're trying to find the answer. It's sometimes tough, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, don't you always have a go at them for finding excuses? And then here I am doing the same thing. So now I'm going to bite my words. And
the hard thing is, you're being honest with us. You're not really sure where that sweet spot might be and where the time might come. You can try some stuff, but you're being genuine with us. It's a tough road for you at the moment. Yeah, we're changing a few things tonight. So hopefully that's the answer. Otherwise I don't have the answer. Well, you'd be pleased to know that Malcolm said you were super committed in there, so you at least know from the passenger seat you're still scaring him. But good. Maybe he's just trying not to hurt my feelings. But no, I watched some in-car back because I wanted to confirm what I thought I was feeling from the way Malcolm and I are working, because that all feels like it's going just as well, if not better, from Ballarat. So that's why it's a bit disheartening, really, when you don't have an answer. I like to be right all the time. Oh, geez, I'm going to leave that one alone. But anyway, good luck tomorrow. We know you're fighting hard, and good luck with a big run home on tomorrow. Thanks very much. All right, we'll wander off. Thank you to Molly and the team. We're going to wander down here. It's a little bit of a hike. So I quickly just want to mention Lewis Bates, who was once again in the Toyota, obviously, brother to Harry. He done a fabulous job once again on these stages. First time he's seen them actually here. We talk about how slippery they are. He had a big six-gear moment. I think we've seen some of that on our vision. Super scary over a crest, but obviously fantastic job for him. So without trying to waste too much of your time, we're in a 2-hour service, or you can take up to 2 hours here, end of leg service or end of heat service. The teams are actually bolting on some tyres for tonight's tarmac stage. So the trade hire Bustleton stage we do again. We do 2 runs. It's almost like a bit of an endurance run around the tarmac. Now, because we run gravel, it's a gravel event, of course, we're running gravel tyres. On the tarmac, we can't go and bolt on an R-spec or a tarmac tyre. We have to use the gravel tyre, but we buff it down. The teams buff it down, take the big knobbly blocks off. We might have a chance to see one of them sitting over here. So we have to effectively run still in gravel trim, but of course we're going to have those buffed down. So down to another area here, because we take over Nannup, we take up every square inch of it all. You can see we've got a few teams down here that successfully run through the ARC. We might wander over through and see if we can find Wayne. Wayne, come here, mate. Come over and have a quick chat to us. You've made the big trek over to Perth. We spoke about the fact you might not even get here, but how are you finding your first run here at Forest Rally?
Very slippery. We're having a lot of fun though. Learning a lot about the car. We've changed a bit of setup and that. Obviously, it's a big learning curve coming over here, never being here before, and obviously adapting and trying to catch the top ARC boys. Lewis is flying out there, so it's a difficult task, but we're having a lot of fun trying to do so.
Any dramas with the car today? Did I hear it sounding a bit noisy, like an exhaust leak before? No major issues?
It started sounding like a Subaru because a wire broke on one of the coils. So that wasn't too exciting because it obviously doesn't have the most power in the world to start with. And on 3 cylinders, it definitely doesn't have enough. So
Nice sledge, by the way. Quick one, who drove the truck across?
I did with my grandparents.
Jeez, you got to love family, mate. Well done. We're going to bounce over and say hello to Penny, someone you know very well, but well done. Keep it trucking. Great job to finish today with a few little issues. Now look at this, Andrew Penny, you talk about doing it as a privateer. He's got the overalls on. The team were working flat out, mate. We're live here, mate. You can't ignore me. Mate, tough day for you here over in Perth.
Yeah, unfortunately we cut the corner a little bit too tight, which sucked us down the bank, and we had to do a bit of forestry work for them. We cleared a few trees down and drove out the other side eventually. Lost, about 17 minutes. Okay. But all good though.
No, mate, if there's anyone going to be hooping and hollering in the car, it's going to be you, and it's pretty hard to get you a good man down. You're obviously fixing it, get back on the horse. Good thing about heats, of course, here in the Super Series is the fact that tomorrow we wipe the slate clean, tonight's stages, and you're back in it tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we had some good times this afternoon once we got the car back up and going, and just do a few modifications and be good to go.
I'll leave it with you, mate. I've got no idea what you're doing down there, so I'm going to leave you to it. Obviously, very busy service for this team and another East Coast team, making a big haul across to Western Australia. We'll quickly wander across to a West Australian team, so home run. We'll see if we can bump into here. The Maximum Motorsport team running 4 cars this weekend. In actual fact, a podium position for Glenn Raymond, who's in the old John O'Dowd car. So I'm actually going to jump in and have a quick chat to Johnny O. Jump over here, mate. Your car's in Flexi, so we've got some of your teammates here, and ARC2 champ from last year. How was your day?
Yeah, it was good, yeah. The roads were good, car was good, so we're hooking in and getting through it.
And of course, for you, dual event. Of course, you can't try and sort of hold your championship from ARC2. You won it last year, so that's you done and dusted ARC2 wise. But you got the state championship to consider. This is a multi-event for you.
It is a multi-event, but we're focusing on the state championship at the moment, so we'll see how we go with that, one step at a time.
Round one winner. So of course, multiple things for you going on. Anything with the car that we're going to be checking out here in the service?
No, the car's fine. It's ran perfectly all day, so no, we're happy at the moment.
And just quickly, for some of our people wouldn't realise, you got Tom Wild in the car. He was in for the state event, but obviously former winner of this event and a driver in his own right. Tell us a bit about the thought process of putting him in.
Yeah, look, Ken's obviously tied up my other navigator with work commitments, so Tom's been good enough to jump in the car and do the navigating. But look, Tom, as you said, is a good driver in his own right, so he's given me some pointers and we're getting through it. I'm learning as I'm going along, so...
You're doing all right, mate. So well done for the day. I think 6 in the ARC. We want to come over here and have a chat to one of the legends of the sport. Look at him, looking as poised as ever. Ross Duncan, 5 times national champion, Hall of Famer in both the rally and also cams, mate. And you're still doing it. What the hell are you thinking?
Oh, I am as well.
Sorry, mate?
Oh, I am as well.
Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah, I did forget about that. The Queen gave you a bit of a nod on the head as well. Sorry about that.
That's right. Very good.
Mate, back out here, have another crack. What was your home rally years ago? Of course, Forest Rally, being a West Australian guy.
Well, I was, and I would have been in the first one. In actual fact, the first ARC I went in was 45 years ago. So 45, yeah. So yeah, a bit of history.
We just went through quickly what you've been and done. And you'd be fair enough to hang the helmet up. What keeps bringing you back? You got your wife Lisa on board. I've seen your son here. I think grandkids are coming down tomorrow. You're back behind the wheel and made, I think, a top 8, 8th position in the ARC, and pretty good run around the Nannup Oval.
Well, the first one was pretty average. The second one was okay, but I've been doing it for 55 years now, so it just gets into your blood. It's sort of a deal that I actually made a living out of it for a while. So. That was a bonus. It's like playing tennis. You always want to become the best and maybe play at Wimbledon. Well, I've done that, and I'm probably past the use-by date at the moment, but best before, isn't it? Best before.
Now we're playing in the Nannup Open, are we? We were doing tennis.
That's right, yeah. But anyway, we're having fun. So.
I don't know if it's camaraderie as well. I mean, obviously, Dad and yourself, your Maximum Motorsport, your rivals back in the day, and now you almost become good mates. It's a bit of fun to come back and have a few laughs and have a skit at the same time with some guys that you respect and know. Well,
it is, and of course, the car I'm driving, I drove that 2 years ago on a lease situation. And it's so nice that I decided that I'll buy it. So we've now bought it. My goodness gracious. In fact, it was your old car, eh?
Yeah, you're not the only person who's mentioned my old cars, and so we might leave you now, Dunko. But you said it was a lovely car to drive.
It was a lovely car.
Awesome, mate. Well done today too, by the way. And of course, as you can see, still action going on. We would love to have caught up with Glenn Raymond. I spy him. Brad Markovic in the back corner of the Maximum Motorsport having a chat. So, as you can see, a very interesting day. Not probably what we expected. Some bigger gaps than we saw in Ballarat, but plenty going on. Of course, if you've got any questions that come through, fire them through Facebook. We'll try and keep you up to date here, and look forward to having a chat to you tomorrow.